and gentlemen, welcome to Coachella 2020. My name is ARIKA and it's a precious chance for me to be a master of ceremony on this very special occasion, one of the greatest music festival, Coachella 2020. I will guide the course of the Coachella Valley Women's Business Center event. This corner will be talking about entrepreneurship and women. There will be two kinds of events on this corner. The first one is speech about Coachella Valley Women's Business Center, and the other one is a great talk show with one of the Coachella's performers. So, before we start, let's hear the welcoming speech from Mrs. Heather Ramirez as the representative of Coachella Valley Women's Business Center. To Mrs. Heather Ramirez, the floor is yours.
Starting a business should be easy. After all, commerce has been a thing since the first humans started trading goods, and you'd think that with all the tools we have today, it would be easier than ever. I can't say whether it's easier or not, but for me, starting a business has been the hardest thing I've ever done. It all started in early 2016. I was at the peak of my marketing career, working as a communications manager at a private school for grades 6 through 12. Reading and writing are absolutely essential for success, but in today's world, so is digital literacy. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was seeing something that no one else could. A combination of being born in 1985, growing up alongside the internet, and being one of the first to integrate these tools into work operations and day-to-day life led me to see a gap that I felt I could uniquely do something about. So I tried to start small. I created a social media literacy curriculum that focused on teaching students how to navigate the internet and create digital media to communicate effectively. Something was telling me it was now or never. So I quit my job and took the first step on my journey as an entrepreneur, not knowing anything about what I was getting myself into. As terrified as I was also oddly excited, which is why I made the decision to document my entire journey on YouTube. As convicted as I was about my mission, I didn't realize how hard it would be to transition from employee to entrepreneur, never mind starting a business. For a business, you make something, you sell something, right? I mean, obviously it's more complicated than that, but it was relatively simple compared to the deprogramming and reprogramming I had to do to even get myself in the mindset that I was capable of creating something worth buying. My parents immigrated here from the Philippines, and they intentionally did not teach me how to speak their native tongue because they wanted me to be as Americanized as possible. I was raised not to stand out, to fit in, and to be like everyone else. My entire life was dictated by what I was supposed to do. So when it came to finally execute something that was fully in my control, I had no idea how to do it. I'm embarrassed to say that I had no sense of individuality, and weirdly enough, I wasn't even aware of it. I didn't know how to trust myself because honestly, I had never done it before. I spent my entire life relying on feedback from others because that was the only way I knew. My YouTube channel ended up being the thing that I saw the most success with. People were resonating with my entrepreneurial journey all over the world, and that helped me stay my course. All of my internal feelings of unworthiness, insecurity, shame, and guilt held me back from charging a fair price. But I finally charged someone $100 an hour. Me, who struggled to even charge $50 an hour. Me, the YouTuber. Me, the person who's trying to make a career of posting on social media. Me, the person who for so long defined my worth based on the first question that so many people ask me when they meet me. How many subscribers do you have? And of course, when I quoted this person $100 an hour, they agreed without the hesitation I was so sure they would have. So I have quite a long way to go, but the It's Your Time program has been a priceless chapter of my journey. I learned so much, I expanded my network, and for the first time since 2016, I feel confidence about my business strategy than I ever have. I'm Heather Ramirez, or Heather Just Create. This is my story, and I'm so thankful that the Coachella Valley Women's Business Center has been a part of it.
Thank you, Mrs. Heather Ramirez, for the great speech. And now let's move on to the main event of this corner, a talk show with one of the most famous K-pop group, Blackpink. I will leave this segment to Yang Yanti as the presenter for the talk show. Without wasting any seconds, let's just get started. Give it up for Yang Yanti and Blackpink. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the YG show, live from California. Tonight we have a very special guest. They are very special because they came from South Korea, and they're also known as one of the most popular K-pop group. Please welcome Blackpink.
Yay!
Welcome Blackpink, and congratulations for performing at Coachella. Okay, Jenny, how do you feel?
I'll have to say, when I was performing at Coachella, it was the most intense 1 hour of my life. Like, that was just too much energy from everybody. Like, I couldn't handle it. I'm still not over it.
And Rose, how amazing the stage there, because there are a lot of people there, right?
I think it's, but like, how people say after you go on a stage where you feel like you really interacted with the crowd, it lasts for a long time and it's really addictive. I totally experienced that this time. So after the show, we drove back to LA and we were at our hotel room, and I remember I just had to keep replaying it over in my head, like again and again, and it was like that was like the best feeling I've ever felt in my 22 years of existence. It's really, really surreal. Like it's so like life-changing. I loved the whole experience. It's like so beautiful and everybody is just amazing. Like everyone in the crowd.
At stage, we were all doing so great, like so fire. But what's on your mind back then? I mean, like, are you focusing on the song or the dance move, or like, maybe like just having fun and go crazy?
Like when you're kind of nervous or when you're not like totally connected to the crowd, I feel like you have a lot going through your head. Like what am I singing right? Or like, are these people feeling it? Like, what do I have to do more to like, interact with them more? Like, you get a lot of thoughts. But honestly, me personally at Coachella, I just really enjoyed myself.
I could tell. I went up the same. Like, it was such a big stage and I had pressure. We all had pressure. And I went up thinking, like, we have to perfect this. But then as soon as I got up, I was like, screw it, I'm just going to enjoy myself and sing whatever I want.
And how about the crowd? Do you expected the crowd to be that big?
Like, we didn't expect to have such a big crowd, and they were really singing their lungs out. Like, they were singing with us, and the whole thing is just so, like, I don't know.
But that was like the best part of it, was that we did not expect it, and I think best things come when it's unexpected. Like even in the morning of the show, I was in bed and I kind of, to be honest, was thinking, okay, maybe like tonight, there might not be like a full crowd, but still, like, I'm going to have to do my best today, is what I thought. Until we, like, we walked out on stage. We didn't even have time to talk about it, but we were like, and then the music came on, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it took me a whole hour to really figure out that everybody that was standing there was actually looking at us. They weren't there for, like, a different show. They weren't, like, faced, like, a different way. They were faced towards us, and it was crazy.
But why? You girls didn't expect the crowd, I mean, Blackpink, or worldwide famous K-pop group, like, why?
I mean, that's a question we ask. Like, ask every day. Like, we would like to know, but
we're 4 different girls that came from 4 different worlds, and to be in a group like this is odd itself, I feel like, and to perform with music that you guys have never heard, because it's a little I mean, is it different? I don't know.
I think it's pretty different.
Okay, yeah, different than what you guys are used to. So I guess people are kind of, oh, that's new. They're attracted to something new. So maybe,
Yeah,
sure. It's new and kind of different, but still, you girls are so amazing. And back again at Coachella, you guys made friends, right?
we kind of did. Yeah. Jaden Smith and Diplo, they actually waited out near our caravan to say hi. Yeah,
so we got to say hi.
Wow.
They were like really, really
They were
kind.
so sweet to us, and
they were so down to earth, like way more than we would expect them to be, and they were so like happy to see us when we're all starstruck. Yeah. We're like, hi.
Okay, Jenny, I heard a lot about you. Like, you learned English by studying in New Zealand, and then you go back to Korea and became a trainee, right? But what's the reason? Are you always wanted to be an idol, or like it suddenly came into your head, or?
So when I was in New Zealand, I lived by myself. Like, my family was living in Korea, and so by the time I turned 14, 15, my mom wanted me to actually move move me to the States, like I think in Florida. Yeah, she had plans to move me. We actually took a trip to Florida, saw the school, saw the place that I would live in, and it hit me like I don't want to live by myself in Florida, not knowing what I want to do. And I started thinking what I want to do, and it was really like I was like out of there. I was like, I want to do music. I want to like learn how to dance and stuff like that. So I told my mom, instead of going to a new school, why don't I just come home and do something that I would enjoy for the rest of my life? And she was supportive with it, and that's how it all started.
Wow, that's crazy how your life can be totally different if you're not decided to be an idol back then. And then you were trained in Korea, met this three incredible human being also live together. Do you remember the moment when you met each other?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. Like, the four of us. So Rosie joined us last to the group, and when she came through with her guitar and her little,
Aussie girl.
yeah, girl,
Australian.
little girl from Australia, she came along, and us four, we just clicked, and we just all started
funny.
singing together
I think
from
that's
day
the moment
one.
we talk about every time somebody asks about like first impressions is when I flew all the way from Australia. Like I brought a guitar and we ended up like jamming till like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
On the first day
I don't think we cared about what our neighbors thought. It was an apartment that we sang till sunrise. And it was funny.
Well, anyway, Lisa, congratulations for being the most followed K-pop artist on Instagram. So you are the first non-Korean idol from YG. So how did they get to you? I mean, like, how you get auditioned like that?
Oh, well, I always, in Thailand, I always listen to K-pop songs. Like, I love K-pop singer. And I told mom that, oh, I want to be part of them. I want to be K-pop artist, you know? And then, 뭐지? 다행히? Thankfully, the YG, they have an audition in Thailand. And
Same as
yeah,
me.
and same as you.
Yeah.
And then I just got in, and then
She flew over
yeah,
to a country where she couldn't speak the language at all.
at all, just only 안녕하세요.
Now that we know that you all girls are from 4 different places, or I could say countries, but what motivated you to keep on being a trainee? I mean, because being a trainee is really hard, and of course you need to leave your family to get focused on your debut, right?
For me, it was like this drive. Like I was like, I cannot fly all the way back to Australia without making this work. Like I felt like it was a fight against myself because it was really, really difficult, to be honest. You know, being away from family, and I was so young. I had never slept outside of my house for like more than 2 weeks. You know, at that age.
Yeah.
But I had to just leave, and the culture wasn't like fully like in my blood yet. So it was very difficult. But for me, it was more like I have to make this work before I, like, you know, I'm never gonna leave Korea without making this work. It was more of my drive. I was more like angry about it. Like this has to work. Yeah.
I was thinking. Kind of the same. Like, you know, we all kind of just dropped everything that we were doing. Like our whole life just changed overnight, and they put us into these groups of girls and just survive, like do like a survival thing every month. And some people just go home after a month. Some people go home after 3 years. It's all different. And to see some of the girls that I trained with go home just made me more like
Motivated.
motivated, because we all had one dream, and it wasn't an easy thing to just stay there and go on with what we want to do. So I didn't from there, I don't want to go home. That's all. That was the only thing on my mind.
Now let's talk about your debut song, Bumbaya. That's really good. That's so good. One of my favorite songs. It's kind of random, but how many times do you think you performed Bumbaya?
Oh wow.
Wow.
Literally
Countlessly.
1,000 times. I don't know.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Is that real middle finger up if you pay on the lyrics?
Yeah.
That's her part.
That's my
We even
part.
have a routine for it, but we had to change it up a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it'd be
Why?
more public.
Be a little.
Yeah,
A
'cause
little.
we have
It's
a lot
to
of
take in.
younger fans, so so we changed it up to like just like
Just
fingers,
like this.
And for the choreography, wow, so cool. That's really intense, I could say. But what's the hardest choreography?
the hair
Yeah.
flips.
It's the hardest.
It hurts.
But you just gotta you just have to let it go. Like let's say you just
Yeah.
did your hair perfectly and you kind of don't want to ruin, but you just have to let it go. You can't hold on to it because
Off, as if it's like a.
let the hair go.
I heard that Lisa is the best when it comes to dancing. Is it also heard that I learned the choreography easily?
Yeah, she knows
She's
how to
a-
like
She has a computer.
in her head and it like
She sees something. It's like, oh, okay. She does it in like a second. She copies it in a second.
Okay, Jenny and Lisa are the rappers, right? So, will rapping is something you always done, or is it what your company asked you to be?
For me, I started rapping because when I first came to YG, I think I was the only one who could speak English in the whole within the trainees, and we had to cover pop songs, and they always have raps, and they're like, "You could speak English pretty fast. Why don't you try rapping?" And I'm like, "Okay," and I enjoyed it as soon as I started. So, yeah, I actually haven't sang for a long time if you really think about it. I only just started singing like when we debuted. Yeah.
when we started preparing for it.
Yeah. Until then I was just rapper all the way.
Yeah. Rapper
Wait.
Jenny.
Rose, do you have your solo project, and how is it going?
Well, we've got a few songs down, but we're still contemplating. It's always a hard decision, I guess. But I mean, everything's like even members. I'm sure like they're preparing little steps.
And well, did any of you girls trying to produce your own song?
So far we've kind of gone with what our producer really prepares for us. But I mean, yeah, anything's open. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Blackpink, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Anytime.
Thank you so much, Yanti and Blackpink. I also would like to sincerely thank all the audiences here for giving so much support and staying here with us. I hope we can meet again at any other occasions. Thank you, Coachella. Thank you all, and have a pleasant evening.